8:20. Oh my goodness. Oops. So I am getting the flowers, getting the pits out to make the saril. Somebody had asked me to do it live. I know it's late, so if it's in the future you're watching this, we are getting the flowers and getting the pits out. So I have a whole thing of pits that I've taken out. We're gonna rinse, and then we're gonna put them in that big pot. We're gonna cook it and then leave it in there overnight so that we get all the red juices out. So that's two pounds, two 1-pound bags. So we're getting the pits out. See, this is the Saril Flor de Jamaica. So this is the drink we're gonna have for our dinner. You see, take the pits out. And I have ginger. I forgot to get the orange, so no orange peel. But I'll put some allspice in. And then I'm gonna season the chicken so you guys can see how I season my chicken, because tomorrow we're making sancocho. And I know a lot of people don't spend time seasoning their chicken, salt and pepper people. But we season our chicken over here. Oh, I keep throwing the leaves out in here. No bueno. All right, so we're gonna rinse it real good. See, I'm doing it again. All right, the pits and everything go in the trash. So tonight is Noche Buena aquí in Panama. Christmas Eve is celebrated differently in Spanish countries. So all these go in the trash. All right, so we're gonna rinse this, and then we're gonna put, I just finished my Spanish class. No rest for the weary. Let's make sure we take out all the dirt. All right, so we are going to put, I think the challenge is knowing how much water to put in, but again, the amount of the flour will determine how, I don't want to say thick, you want your drink to be. I think I see from what I watched some videos, the Jamaicans, they use the dry hibiscus flour. We use the fresh one here. So that's the difference. But the result's the same. I just want to have enough for my guests to drink. So I would say this would be about a gallon. And then what you do, after it boils up, you add the ginger and then you let it sit overnight. Almost like you making a sangria, right? So I think it's what I could compare it with. I'm using my phone today, so yes, it would be like a sangria. So turn the heat. So let's see how much. Ooh. Okay, I say so. See, my epinephrine is very strong. All right. So what I want to add, since I don't have any of the orange peel, I think I have, do I have some? If I had some lime, I would put the lime rind in there. But I want to put some allspice. I have whole allspice. But where I come from, we use a lot of anise. But I don't want to mess up the taste, so I'm not going to put that in there. But we're going to add some allspice, whole ones. I love allspice. So I think that's good, because tomorrow we're going to strain everything, right? Yes. And, sour anise, canela. Last year, when I made it, I did put some cinnamon in there, in my cinnamon sticks. Hola. Feliz Navidad. Here, Noche Buena is what they call Christmas Eve. So I'm going to put some cinnamon in there. You can't go wrong with cinnamon, right? That's good. So it's time to get a big one. And I think I'm going to add the star anise just because. Why not? So I say we Meganize it, right? Because, cinnamon goes together with star anise in terms of taste. Remember those, the star? You can't go wrong with that. I remember we made porridge when I was growing up, corn porridge or avena, which is like oatmeal porridge, and then you put, Noche Buena, they call it. And I asked one of my Panamanian friends what it is. It's a tradition that comes from Spain, because, we say that the culture, you bring culture from Spain, from Africa, from the Caribbean, from China. So Chinese, I don't think we have so many traditions here. Chinese, the food, it's, we can see the food. They use a lot of, they use soy sauce a lot here. And in the diet, they have a lot of fried, Chinese fried rice. Dumpling, yes. So I asked her about Noche Buena, and she said, like, tonight there's gonna be, eating and singing and lots of family gatherings, and they go to church. And I remember when I was a kid, we used to go to church. So Christmas Eve service, and then they open the gifts in. I'm peeling the ginger. You could use a knife like that, or you could use like a small spoon. Just works as well. But I read a couple of, I don't want to say argument about the ginger, not to put the ginger. Some people put the ginger in a blender and then add it here. I don't know. I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm just going to slice the ginger. The only thing I don't like about this is just the amount of sugar we're going to have to put in it. But in Panama, they use the cane sugar that comes like in a block. I forgot to get some. So I have some brown sugar. We're going to use that. And then we're going to go to seasoning our chicken. And I think you want to see how I season my chicken for optimal flavor, because the soup tomorrow won't take long. The chicken does not last, doesn't take a long time to cook. And then there is no carrots or potatoes or anything like that. It's just a nyame. I think I showed you what the nyame looks like. It's a type of yam. It's chicken, culantro, oregano, and this yam. Nyame. That's what we're gonna cut. And that's it. They don't want you to put anything else in it. Like my Panamanian friend said, I'd like, "Es sancocho de carne." She said, "No, Maggie. If it's got any other meat in it, it's not sancocho." Es sancocho solamente con pollo. You know they call pollo gallina over here. Gallina también. So there is a fonda called Mama Gallina here that's very famous in Obarrio. I've been there. The food's okay. I mean, I don't think it's that, you know. I mean, fonda food is pretty much the same. Unless somebody really messes up, you know. Some people have nice sancocho, and some people it's just hit or miss. But I think I've had lentils as a fonda. I've had sancocho. Never had rice or meat there. My daughter, when she was here, she had the guacho. The guacho is like a risotto, but they put different meat. You say risotto de carne, risotto de mariscos, or they'll put seafood in it. And my daughter had one with the big langostina, you know, the big shrimp. It was good. But I'm sure they use a lot of chicken bouillons and things that I don't want to put in my body anymore. Alrighty. I think, well, I guess we're going to have to use all my ginger. I love to put ginger in my chicken, but for the sancocho, maybe a little bit. I'll put a little bit. Because I don't want to mess the taste of the sancocho. All that culantro and oregano, you can't go wrong. And if you go to a fonda, you see anybody who is older, everybody's having sancocho. Everybody. They also call it hangover soup. All right. Now we are going to cut the chicken up. The chicken was already cut up. I asked him to cut it, which in Spanish is picado. Picado. Picar means to cut. Now, I guess what they say cut. I was trying to think of a different word for cut. Picar. Alright. So we're gonna put the ginger in here. Let it sit here and wait. Now we're gonna have to leave this here because that's the largest burner here. And then we have guandu verde. That's what I'm cooking tomorrow. I didn't buy fresh guandu because the little peas that they have here, they're really small, and I prefer these. And I did find some leftover coconut milk, so we're good for tomorrow. And I bought some ripe plantain that I'm going to put in the oven tomorrow. And, you know, one of those Sundays, I'm going to make a plantain casserole for you guys. That's good, too. You layer it like a lasagna. And then it's good. Hola, hola. All right. Let's get our chicken. I believe my knife is getting to the point that it needs to be sharpened. And oops, sorry. Yeah, just want to show you the chicken because this thing is in the way, the pot. All right. I'm gonna put some water in the pot here. One thing that we also do when we are seasoning our chicken is that once we finish cleaning it, you know, with the vinegar and the lime, we shock it with some hot water. I don't know the scientific reason for doing that, but it's just that I was raised like that. We always did that. And there's always this feeling that if you don't do it, the chicken is not clean, but you know, don't come at me for any of that. It's just culture, tradition, okay? I remember when I was in school, the chef was like, you don't have to clean the chicken or whatever. I'm like, I cannot, in good faith. You cannot take that out of me, sorry. No puedo. Es que no puedo, no puedo. All right, so I'm gonna make sure. These are big pieces. Look at that. Woo! Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Now they sell you the chicken with the feet. I am not eating that. People, chicken feet, I know. If you're from the island, you're gonna tell me, oh, chicken feet's good. I can't. Especially when I see the nails. I can't, listen. I don't know if I told you. When I was in South Africa, we went to an event, and then here they come with what looked like an appetizer tray. And in that tray, on that tray or plate, they had chicken feet with the nails, the claws were sitting up like that. They had gizzard, which is it the covering of the, no, it wasn't the heart. Yeah, they had chicken heart. And then they had worms. And then they had peanuts that had been, I don't know, grilled or roasted. And then I took a look at that plate and I went, and you know, they tell you that you don't refuse, you know, your host. And I was fixing to just say, well, I'm going to be sent home because I'm not eating those worms. And then the little young man took pity on me. He looked at me. He said, you don't have to eat it if you don't want to. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Because they harvest the worms. They had, you know, where we were in the village, they had mounds, and they say they had some trees. Certain times of the year, people would go up there and shake the trees, and all the worms would come out. And then my host lady, she said, worms are good. I'm like, listen, sis. And she's like, oh, that protein. I'm like, listen, I don't need protein that bad. I am not eating worms. I remember years ago there was this big thing going on about chocolate covered roaches. Oh. You talking to someone when I was in school, I couldn't even kill a lobster. To throw a live lobster in a pan of boiling water, I can do it. I cannot do it. I have not killed a chicken, wrong, any chicken neck. I can't. No bueno. I know. Is that great? Auntie? No bueno, Auntie. I'm like, oh, I was saved by the bell, let me tell you. I'm like, I'm not eating any of that. The only thing I ate on that plate was the peanut. I said, I can have peanuts. Yeah, I can have peanuts. I was like, oh my God. People eat cats and all kind of weird stuff. I said, listen, if I got to a point where there was no protein, don't worry. I'll eat some roots, some yucca. I'll boil some leaves. I will eat the leaves before I eat. And I remember I was in a store in South Africa, and then we went food shopping. It was to buy food. And then I got inside the store and they had a canister. I swear, it was this big thing, like a glass, and this thing was filled almost to the top with chicken legs, chicken feet. And I went like this and I kept looking, and this older lady, this older woman, the mamas in South Africa are serious. You don't play with them. One of them, I was in the store, she came to me and she pulled my skirt down. She's like my skirt had ramped up. You know how you carrying a bag, and she looked at me, she's like, she just did it for me. She didn't tell me. I'm like, thank you, Ma. That's all you say. These mamas don't play. But she looked at me, she's like, why are you looking at it like that? I said, I've never seen that many chicken feet. She said, oh, nice, good. I'm like, she said, why do you make your face like that? I said, I don't eat that. She said, oh, you don't know how to cook it. I said, it's okay, Ma, thank you. Here they eat it. And again, you have the Caribbean culture. And my grandmother used to eat chicken feet. Yes. But you couldn't get me to eat it. Nope. I just draw the line. We used to, I remember as children, when your parents killed a chicken, then the tribe, the intestine, some kids would just take them to close to the river and stick a little something in it, turn it upside down, getting all the stuff out from the inside and go and cook it. I'm not eating that. So when people talk about chitlin and stuff, I'm like, okay, no. I remember when I was in class, the chef said, you're going to have to put that lobster, and then you had to take a skewer and put it through the live lobster. Oh my God. I'm a softie. I can do it. He said, well, you're not going to be able to pass my class. I said, well, we have a problem, chef, because I am not putting that through I can't do it. And then when they were doing foie gras, I said, I'm not eating fried fat. I guess I was a rebel. I'm like, I'm not eating that. Caviar, I'm not eating fish eggs either. Some people say, what kind of chef are you? I said, that's okay, I don't want to be a chef. I'm not eating that stuff. Raw meat, tartare. They take a raw beef and they chop it and then they put all spices in it and make it look fancy. I'm like, you all eat that raw beef. I'm not eating that. Yeah, no. I have strong feelings about certain things. If I say I'm not eating it, you cannot make me. You're not the boss of me. So don't come at me with anything. I think for the longest time, I wouldn't even eat oysters because I'm not eating the oysters. And you know how many people get sick from those things? No. I said, give me some plantain, give me some leaves, I'll cook them, I'll season them, and I'll be good. Now, if somebody kills a chicken, I'll eat it. And that was another story from South Africa. You know, when we go to the compound, you know, there were loose chicken, loose cows, loose goats. We didn't see too many pigs where I was, but we had loose chicken. Yeah, no, I do not eat oysters. You know, the only place I went and had some oysters, I went to NOLA one time, and somebody had mentioned a restaurant, the Red something, and I went there. I said, oh, you know, because I want to visit the notorious places, and you know, you go to NOLA, my gosh, you're gonna eat. So I said, I'm sticking to jambalaya and some gumbo, and I'm good. I don't need to try everything else. I don't try food that I don't know. I don't eat raw food. You know, I tried ceviche one time when I came here 1 year, and because the place where we usually go get it, people have gotten sick. Not everybody, but some people. So I went to Peru. Peru is popular with ceviche. Oh, the best ceviche, I said, that's okay. I don't eat raw fish. That's why I don't do sushi that is raw. If it's, you know, I could do a seal tuna, yes, but I'm not eating raw anything like that. You can get sick. Gotta be careful, especially as you get older, right? So I remember going, ooh, I can smell the canela, the cinnamon is starting to boil. And there were chicken, you know, and at that time I was full whole food plant-based when I was in South Africa. And I remember telling the host lady, I said, you know, I don't eat meat, but if the chicken is free range like it is, because, you know, I worry more about the hormones and all the crap they put in your food. And I said, but if somebody kills one of those chickens, I said, I'll cook it. She said, oh no, we can give you one of those chickens. She said, if you want chickens, we'll send someone to the market to get you one. I said, well, what about these? And then somebody said, they said in the chicken, they have the spirit of their ancestors, so you can't take one of those chickens that is free roaming. You got to ask questions, and certainly I don't want to upset the ancestors. Oh my gosh. But no, they could not make me eat the worms. No, ma'am. I would not. And they say, what if you're starving? Well, I don't know if I'm starving. And that's the only thing available. Worms, ew. Didn't they say some places in Indonesia they were raising, they had rat farms and stuff? And there was one place, I think they finally had a law, was it Indonesia? Where they finally banned, you know, farming dogs and stuff. People eating snakes and sharks and gators. Nope, no bueno, not for me. Again, if I have a choice, why would I choose to eat those things? Crocodile, gators, no. And of course, you know, I'm not into meat like that. So I don't have to have any of those. Horse meat, don't they say there's some places people eat horse meat? No bueno. Okay, so I think we kind of got our chicken. So we got a lot of chicken, right, for tomorrow. Look at all this chicken. Oh my God, I don't know if it's gonna fit in one pot. Look at that, and I don't have a big pot. Whew. So I know what I'll do. I'll cook the chicken roasted and take some of it out and not put all of it in. All right, this is the saril. It's boiling. You see it? Yes, that's what it looks like. Mmm. It smells amazing. You know how you could do cinnamon and oranges and use that as a air freshener? That's what it smells like here. Sounds so good. All right, I'm gonna wash my board and my knife. All right, this is the time when you're in your kitchen, after you use your board to cut chicken, you go in there with hot water, soapy water, you wash your board, wash your knife, wipe everything. If you're going to go to vegetables or salad, because you don't want to cross-contaminate chicken with anything, nada de nada. That's how people get sick a lot of the time. That's why I say, you know, I tell people, you go to a restaurant, you are putting your life in your hand because you don't know how clean they are back there. In the back of the house, listen, you don't want to know what happens back there, trust me. So this is some white vinegar. I'm gonna get some, I hope I have some lime. Yes. So I got some lime. Don't have a lot though. Not so good. All right, we're gonna put that in there. So you want to clean your meat really good. And then once I go rinse there, I'm gonna turn the jar, boil that water and shock. Oh, we're going to cut this. And I was thinking today about what I'm gonna cook on Sunday, and I had some ideas running through my head. It's gonna be the last week, I think, in the year, and I know Greta asked me to do some one-pot things. Well, we're gonna have to wash that board again. And now see, if you were to take this chicken and you just rinse, not even rinse it and put it in, oof, my spirit would be upset. No matter, used to make sorrel when I never liked the taste. Really? Oh, that's too bad. Well, you know, they say if you cook it, if you boil it with the ginger, it messes up the taste. But when I made it last year, I really liked it. I really did. And then you can cheat. If the color is not red enough, you can put some of that dry hibiscus in it, because that would give it a richer taste. All right, so I'm gonna have to rinse this. It's gonna take me a couple of minutes to just, you know, take all the little pieces that needs to, you know, that's when you're rinsing, you're doing all this, getting all this stuff off. Okay, so Shouldn't take long. Because that's why you clean it before you even start to clean it with the lemon. And then, you know, they make us take these little small veins. I don't know. That's from my family. We do that. You dig inside the thigh. Don't ask me why we do that. Do not ask me why. You know, when we do chicken breast at home when I was growing up, there's a vein that runs inside, or cartilage. We are told to take that off too. And I come here and I'm older, I'm like, why do we do that? A lot of times you don't know why you do certain things. It's just tradition, right? All right. Okay, I'm gonna turn the hot water and I'm gonna clean this again. All right, let me bring the camera over because you need to see how you clean the chicken in the sink. Okay, so I have this thing here, this bowl. I'll just put them in there. So when I do under the skin, and then you're gonna take off all that's hanging there, right? I'm gonna put it down a little bit. There we go. Yep. So you try. We call those bleh. I don't know how we call it in English, but you wanna make sure everything is clean. Any little stringing, you take them off. Like for the drumstick, you're gonna go in there and you're gonna get rid of all of this. Trust me. I don't think it's gonna make that big a difference, but my mama would roll in her grave if I didn't do it. Okay? My daughter yesterday, I was talking to her. You know, at one point she was really into cooking. Then she went vegan. It was a whole thing about vegan. And then she just gave it up all completely. These children, I tell you. So now yesterday she's like, she would call me and say, well, how do you make your pate again? How do you do that? Now she's back into it. Oh, Lord. Whew. I'm like, okay. She said, oh, I'm getting compliments on my food. They're like, we know where you get it from. I'm like, you are 30 or 31, you're getting into it? Oh my goodness. Okay. Now this skin hanging here, I'm gonna take it off because it just serves no purpose. And the foot, chicken feet, whew. And you know, here when you get a chicken, sometimes they show you where the egg had started to, I don't know, to grow in the belly. Here, this is where we go in there and take that vein off. Why? Don't ask me why. I know. But you're gonna get some clean chicken. This is not gonna be your run-of-the-mill chicken from the factory. No, ma'am. All right. So now we're gonna have our hot water. We blanch that, we shock it. All right. We're good. So all this throw it away. All right. And now we're going to wash our board with hot water and soap. gotta clean your board. Very, very important. Okay? Don't scratch on that. That's how you keep yourself from getting sick. Now this is the nurse washing her hands. Good hand washing will keep you safe and keep you from making somebody else sick. Okay? So you can't ever wash your hands too much. You know, in practice as a nurse, sometimes our hands get so rough because we wash them so much. So that's better than carrying disease, like some doctors who don't wash their hands, some surgeons. And the next thing you know, people are getting infections, one after the other. All right, very good. So I'm gonna get a new clean towel. So now we're ready to chop our spices and stuff we're gonna put in the chicken. So now we have the hot water. We're gonna shock this chicken. Whew. Make sure every piece gets that hot water. And once, you know, for like a minute, you're not cooking it, and then you get rid of that water. It's not that hot. Whew. So you're getting some really clean chicken here. All right, then I gotta wash my hands again. No cross-contamination here. I think I was doing some hand washing, and then somebody said to me, "Oh, you're gonna have some cross-contamination. Better not use the kitchen." I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm at home, relax. Okay, so I believe we can go ahead and add our ginger, because I do want some of that. You know, my body's clean, remember that. I want some of that red. Clean hands, clean boards, okay? So, you know, that's the only reason I'm cutting the ginger here, because the board is clean. And then we're gonna go ahead and put that in the saril. Chicha de saril. Chicha, remember, chicha means a drink. Saril, drink. Some people blend this, I don't. And let's see. So it's gonna be nice and gonna have a kick to it. That's a lot of ginger. I think that should do it. All right, I'm keeping the rest. So I'm gonna let this just sit here, and I turn the heat off. So that's perfect. So now let's season our chicken. You know, I said I like ginger in my chicken. It doesn't matter what kind of chicken you're cooking. If you're doing a roast, you can put it inside with all your lemon and your herbs. Just give the chicken a nice flavor. But for the Sancocho, I'm not putting a lot in there. I don't think I want to put all that in there. It might be a bit too strong. Leave the rest to put it in my tea. Okay. So whenever you're cooking chicken at home, try some ginger. You're gonna thank me. Now, I have guests tomorrow, so I don't know if they can tolerate heat. So I'm gonna go easy with the Scotch bonnet, but this is like a little piece. But if it was for me, I would put maybe half a Scotch bonnet in there. But this is nothing. That's not gonna give it any heat. Oh, I was so excited. So this place that delivered, I told you the avocados were good. So they really advertise on Instagram. And they are starting an avocado club for $19 a month. And I'm thinking, I paid like $1.75 for the 3 avocados for $5. So if they give you, how many did they say? 3 avocados a week, which be 3, 6, 9, and 12. And they have it $19. Well, I'm assuming it's a deal. I don't know. All right. So some liquids. Whenever I marinate, I put a little bit of oil. This is sunflower oil. I'm out of EVOO. You know, the last extra virgin olive oil is in here. Remember, this is from for me doing the tuna, the poached tuna, right? So I know I'm going to need some vinegar because I'm running low on lime juice. And I have a little bit of lime, so I'm going to squeeze that because I have to have lemon or lime fresh, okay? So we're going to squeeze that in there and hope that's enough acid because I am out. You know, if you run out of lime, use vinegar. Vinegar is good for you, you know that, right? For your inside. All right. And I'm going to put a little bit of dark soy to marinate my chicken. And I also have, is that Worcestershire? Oh, this is balsamic. I thought I had Worcestershire. Okay, I don't have Worcestershire, so I'm not going to put the balsamic in there. All right. So now we're going to do fresh ground pepper. You know, you marinate your chicken overnight, if you can. If you can't, an hour will do. All right. Then I have Herbe de Provence. Oh my God, it's almost done just because I use it so much. Anybody coming in? I mean some herbe de Provence. Herbe de Provence, really good. All right. Sage. Sage goes well with meat. Okay. You know how we use it with the turkey, so you know it goes well with poultry. Oh, I want to post something else about reheating food, especially for the holidays, because a lot of time you can get sick from not reheating the food to the right temperature. It has to be 165. All right, so be careful. When you're cooking a whole bird, like a turkey or chicken, if you stick the thermometer in it, in the thigh, deep in the thigh, you want it to get up to 160. When you take it off out of the oven, you let it sit, it continues cooking, and the temperature is gonna go up to 165. You don't want to eat undercooked chicken. Oh my gosh, you're gonna get sick and you could die. Don't do that. All right, let's see. I thought I had some fine herbs. Marjoram, cumin, yes, definitely we want cumin. I have cumin here. Comino in Espanol. All right. We put some paprika, we put adobo. Okay, good. So now we're going to add our herbs. We're gonna put garlic and thyme and rosemary. You need rosemary for meat, okay? So I have thyme, rosemary, cilantro, and garlic. You know, you buy this for like $1.25. Not bad, right? Not bad. So the difference, I asked when I went to the store to get the chicken, I asked the lady, you're so nice. And I said, do you eat chicken for the holidays, Navideña? And she said, yes. I said, I thought it was just the ham and the leg of the pork. She said, no. This time they cook the chicken in an horno, which is the oven, whole, right? Because usually they would cut the chicken. Remember I said picado means cut up. Like if they cook it in sauce or anything like that, or in the soup. But for the holidays, they cook it whole. So when you are cooking a bird whole, inside the cavity, you want to spice it, and then you put like lemon slices and all your herb, and you stick them in there, and it's going to infuse to the breast, and that's when you get yummy chicken breast. Yes, yummy chicken breast. Now I like to put some onions in my chicken. You mix it all in. It just gives a good flavor. So you leave that overnight, all that flavor is gonna get inside your chicken. So when you cook that chicken, listen, one can tell you nothing. That chicken is gonna be savory. And you know, people always say, oh, that takes too long. Listen, you can't rush perfection. If you spend time in the prep, and then when you're eating, you know, sometimes I cook, and then I take a bite, and I'm like, oh my God. It's so good. But it's so rewarding because that is like, you get the benefit of your hard work. And when you have people sitting at your table, they're like, oh my God, this is so good. I don't know about you, but for me, when I watch people eat my food and they just rave about it, it fills my soul. It does. Right? Or people just frowning, or they don't, and you know when people are eating your food that they like it when they ask for a second, or they sit around the table talking because all the good hormones are flowing to their brains, right? So I tell people I show love to my food because, like the Bible says, I don't have gold, I don't have silver, but what I have I give you. I know it's a terrible analogy, but hey, but it is. Like I told that sister, she's like, it's a passion. I said, I get it, sis. It is a passion. So when I'm sitting here doing this, people would say, oh my God, aren't you tired? No, because it's something I love to do, right? So that's why it says, find a passion, find something that you love to do and engage in it. I mean, not just if you're retired, but if you are working, but on the weekend you like to paint, you like to bicycle, you like to swim, do it. Whatever it is that you love to do, do it. Because then it's going to stabilize things in your brain and keep you from going in that deep depressive state. Especially when you look at stuff going around you over there. If you don't take charge and start doing something to keep yourself sane, it's not good. And one of the best ways what you can do for yourself is engage in activities that you love, staying busy. Don't sit and keep thinking, woe is me. Whatever is out of your control, you have to let it go. You might say, oh, Maggie, it's easier said than done. Well, I know that. But at the same time, you see how much garlic? I'm not shy with the garlic at all. Okay? So you got to do something proactively to keep yourself from going crazy. Don't feed yourself a diet of bad news and listen to the same thing. What does that do for you? Nothing. It just messes up with your head. All right. Lots of garlic. Now I told you I had the ladies bring me a garlic presser. They don't work as well. All right. Garlic goes in. I know. You're going to say, I don't have time. I'm too impatient. Well, I'm sorry, sis. If you're impatient, there's nothing I can tell you that's going to make you change your mind. You're impatient to do what? To go finish a project, to go back on the computer, instead of doing something that relaxes you, that helps you to manage all the stress that you're under. If you don't see the value or the importance of it, this is Rosemary. I can help you. You spend time doing things that you think are important. If you don't think doing something positive for your mental health is important, then, and I tell people, all I can do is tell you. I can't make you do nothing. If you don't see the value in doing stuff that you love and you're like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to tell you. Now, rosemary is a little hard, so you have to push your knife down a little bit more decisively. Because what you don't want big pieces of that in your food. So you got to take time. Good, fine. And you feel it when it's going through it. All right, we're good here. So we're gonna go again. Now the chicken, I put some soy sauce and I put some of that adobo. They both have salt. So I usually don't add any more salt until the chicken is cooking. Then I can top it. Because remember, it's always easier for you to add salt. You can't take it off. Ooh, I need more fresh thyme. That one has done well. I've had it for like 2 or 3 weeks. That's really good. All right. You know, I could not do this overnight because I know it would make the difference in the taste of my soup. I would have had to do it in the morning, get the chicken. So I'm glad I'm doing it now. Ooh, smells so good. Nice. Okay, now the last thing, I need a little bit of cilantro. Now I have culantro for tomorrow when I'm cooking, but this is cilantro. A little bit more herb. Perfecto. And then after this, I think we're good. Now, if you had fresh sage, that would be great. But I only see sage around the holidays. And Reba Smith would be the place to go. And like tomorrow, I am not going anywhere near any. I'm not leaving my house, period. Even though in the city it's so quiet. Everybody that who needed to go somewhere has already been there. Even I was out yesterday, it wasn't bad at all. The roads weren't crazy. I'm like, oh. So I think people probably already went to the interior. All right. So now this is when I go with my hands and do the mixing. I know I see all these fancy chefs wearing gloves. I'm like, okay. All right. Like they're scared of the chicken. I don't wear gloves when I'm cooking. Now, you wear gloves in a public, in a commercial place. Ooh. It smells so good. You wear gloves ready to eat food in a restaurant. Ready to eat food would be your fruits and veggies. Anything that somebody can just pick up and eat, you need to wear gloves if you are in a commercial place. But at the same time, sometimes you go into a restaurant and they have the same pair of gloves and they don't change it. That's not any better? Yuck. Yes. I remember one day I went to a conference and we went to lunch. And this girl, I think it was, maybe it was Taco Bell? I don't know, years ago. And the girl, so now we are good. All we're gonna do is saran wrap this baby and let it sit overnight. So do you think this chicken is gonna taste good? With all those herbs and the acid, it probably needs a little bit more acid. I have to figure out what to do tomorrow, but we will figure it out because that soup is gonna have a lot of oregano and culantro, so it's gonna be good. But we were ordering lunch, and this little girl was at the cash register. She had some gloves on, and it was one of those, they had, remember the deep shell they used to have, and then you put the meat, and then you have the tomatoes, like a pico de gallo, and then you put it on there. She was at the cashier, and she went with the same gloves. She picked up the tomatoes and all the stuff and put it on there. Without changing her gloves, she went back to the cash register. And then I looked at her and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not eating that. I said, you had the same gloves, you were touching money, and then you touched my food, and then you went in there. She went, oh, I'm like, no, I'm not eating it. And I hadn't gone to school yet. You know, it was the nurse in me. I'm like, you're contaminating. No, I'm not eating it. But a lot of that stuff happened in the back of those restaurants. That's what I keep telling you. Eat at home. Many times you come home and you get sick, you don't know where you get sick or what you get sick from. Some kind of contamination in the food back there. Trust me. You remember the program when they showed you what people did to your food back there? Like if you, oh, auntie wasn't feeling good? You've been drinking that combination of juices and spices since last week. Good. I got the worst cold. Well, you know what? That influenza A is out there. Better now, that's good. There's an influenza A type K that they said is sweeping, and they said this flu season is going to be one of the worst ones. They're calling it the super flu, and you're going to be sick for about 7 to 10 days. If you're lucky, you get better. If you're not lucky, you might develop into pneumonia, inflamed heart muscles, all kind of craziness. And this ER doc says that the pneumonia that develops from that flu is usually MRSA. You know anything about MRSA? That's the bug that is resistant to almost all antibiotics. And when they find one that can work on it, it costs thousands of dollars. So be careful, ladies. Wash your hands, put your mask on if you're in public places. And you know, that's why I put something on the Facebook page. And I'm like, yeah, while you're going on your Christmas parties and New Year's Day parties and you're in each other's faces and you're spitting, and yep, some of you are going to bring something home. I guarantee you. And it's here in Panama too. And they, you know, the health department here is considering making masks mandatory again for this season. I always have my mask in my bag. When I get in an area that is crowded, I automatically mask up. I had COVID. I can't afford to get sick. And if I have it, it better be a cold and not the flu. Otherwise, I won't do well. And I have to be careful. So please protect yourself around the holidays. You can say no to certain invites, because if it's going to be a bunch of people, I guarantee you. Remember COVID? People go to concerts, to games, and then they come back, they're always sick. Yeah. Take your flu shot. If you don't believe in shots, don't tell me, okay? All right, it's going to go in the fridge. Got to find room for it. Oh, my. So I got lucky yesterday. And got culantro. This is culantro. I got it when I got the guy, and I'm like, how much? Because usually they're really stingy with it. Yeah, good for you, auntie. And then he said, 50 centavos. I'm like, oh, 50 cents. I'll take it. Thank you. This is culantro, not cilantro. This is culantro. And that's what goes in that soup tomorrow. If you don't have this in your soup, it's not sancocho, okay? So, like the oregano, you have to have oregano, and you have to have the yam that I show you. And it's a very simple brothy soup. They also call it hangover soup, that if you don't feel good, it replaces our chicken soup pretty much. Except it's got no carrots, no nothing. I told you the first time I made it, I put corn and everything, and the guy said, that's not sancocho. He's Panamanian. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Don't want to offend the locals. No. All right, ladies. So this is it for tonight. So tomorrow it's gonna be dinner because this young lady, her flight arrives at about 2:30. So we're gonna eat about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I will start the soup. 3:30, 4:30. Yeah, 3:30 is about the time. So if you guys want to see me make it, the soup won't take any time. And then at the same time, I start the rice. Easy peasy. A good suggestion for the beginning of a cold, give yourself an oil of oregano face bath, and inhale. For COVID. Okay. Does it taste like cilantro? I don't think so. But I know a lot of people can't tolerate cilantro. I think somebody said they can't tolerate cilantro, but they can tolerate culantro. Yeah. I mean, I understand like 30% of the population can't tolerate cilantro. It tastes like soap. Somebody said something about the enzyme and reacting with their bodies. You don't like cilantro? Yeah. I have a friend who can't tolerate it either. But I don't think it tastes like it. But this one is loaded with this culantro. All I would say is try it. Buy a little pack, put it in a soup and see how you feel. Because some people don't like cilantro, but they can tolerate culantro. Yeah, they're not the same. This one is a little bit more pungent, right? And if you've ever had green spice mix, like from Puerto Rico, what do they call it? They put a lot of culantro in it. And again, remember, the Caribbean, Central, South America, lots of similarities in the food and the spices, lots. So, yep. All right, ladies, you have a good 9:30. You have a good evening. Thank you for checking this out. Next time you're cooking a chicken for your soup, take a few minutes and season it. You'll thank me later. It tastes so much better. And it's it's a labor of love, Oops, ¿qué pasó? All right, have a good night. Buenas noches. Feliz Noche Buena. Christmas Eve. All right, bye.